With all due honor and praise to the Most High, we worship thee through the divine image of my wives. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome to the Horseman Law Podcast. This is episode 4.
Yes.
I'm your host, Tank, and my brother here.
Dorje in the house.
Yeah, so we're back, man. We've been off for a while. I've had to do some work. And
I'm going to interrupt him, too, because I know it's his birthday. It's his birthday. So, I gotta, you know what I'm saying, just pause before in the introduction, just so y'all know it's a celebratory episode. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm blessed to be here at this age. I'm not going to divulge exactly how old I am. Mm-hmm. But I'm blessed to be here. I had a wonderful evening. You know, we hung out. We kicked it, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Cash, shout out to XO, Sal, Abel, you know, all the family. Real good brothers, you know what I'm saying? They were out here this weekend too, so we had a good time. You know what I mean? We got to hang out, kick it. I had my beautiful wives with me. It was amazing.
Yes. So supportive.
Oh man, it's a good time. You know, I had my brother Chris, and you know, it was beautiful. Dorje, of course, came, and we had a good time. And that's how you want to celebrate your birthdays. You know, especially when you're blessed to have them. True. You want to celebrate in any way you want, any way you can.
Absolutely, another trip around the sun.
Absolutely, and for me, it's even more important and more special because you know my son, you know Titus. Yeah, his birthday is on the 18th.
Ah, that's right. I knew it was like real close.
So we had his on the 18th, celebrated his birthday, you know, had a little party for him. And then mine's is right on the heels of that. And then my anniversary is next week.
Oh, wow.
Right. So
Did you enjoy the photo I sent you?
Yeah.
That's a classic pic.
That's
like honeymoon. Yeah, that's like y'all are.
That was the actual day.
Yeah.
Me and Chanel went on our honeymoon to Miami. Beautiful, man. It's good times. It's a good time. And it's a funny story about that wedding. It's a funny story about our wedding. I had no idea how I was going to pay for the wedding.
Right.
It was just like, yo, we're about to get married.
Yeah.
Just told everybody we was getting married. I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. And I went to this, I used to be in a union painting. So I went to this like union gathering. They would do these little picnics or whatever. So we went to the picnic and they had a raffle. Right? And they had a raffle at this wedding. I mean raffle at this picnic. So I put in on the raffles. Like you give $1, you get a ticket. Right. Whatever. So I put like $5. Got 5 tickets, right? And they're raffling all kind of shit. Boats.
Damn. Like
expensive stuff. It's not just like some cheap shit. So luckily we won an ATV. Like the 4-wheeler joints, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, what I'm gonna do with this? I was like, I don't go off-roading ATVs.
Right.
None of that.
It's not my lane, but
I do have a wedding I have to pay for
sale.
Immediately.
What's the MSRP on this vehicle?
Immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I don't even think we left with it. I think I sold it there
immediately
at the picnic,
on the gathering,
at the gathering,
right?
And that's how the universe works. It's so crazy because it was just enough money for us to do what we really wanted to do. And,
beautiful wedding too. That was a beautiful wedding.
And you know I was young. We were young, so we got back from the honeymoon. And I got laid off like immediately.
Where do you think you're going?
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's how the universe works, man. You get exactly
the
what
balance
you asked for.
Right,
you understand what I'm saying? You better be specific because you get exactly what you asked for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mother God was like, "Oh, you need money for a wedding." You didn't say to live.
Right.
You didn't say to
we're
continue.
stopping at wedding. We're stopping at wedding.
Once you got the wedding done, honeymoon, back to the unemployment line. Like,
unemployment.
Crazy. Right. It was crazy.
That is so true. You want to always ask for your best case scenario.
Facts.
And then go backwards from there, right? So I tell people like this notion of utopia is utopia would be 100%, right? You can't have 100% of anything. Okay, granted, But we can have 99.999999999.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. You get exactly what you asked for. So it's good to be specific. And I learned that later on in life. Like, you have to be specific when you're dealing with the universe. You have to be specific when you're dealing with the universal God on how you want things, how you want to experience things, and how you want to live your life. You actually create the reality you live in.
Absolutely.
You actually create the reality you live in through your thoughts, through how you think and how your mindset, how you gauge your mindset, how you tune your mindset. And that's how I learned. Somebody taught it as like a tuning. Like, imagine tuning a radio.
Yeah, or an instrument.
Right.
Exactly.
So you know how it gets fuzzy,
Right. If it's not on the station, if the frequency is not in line. I like that analogy because it brings in alignment too, right? Like when the frequencies line up and there's alignment, then there's clarity.
Exactly. And then it's all right there. And then it becomes, I wouldn't say easy, but it becomes clear.
Clear. Clarity is huge.
Exactly.
I think that's also a big driving force within relationship.
Absolutely.
If all of the frequencies are aligned, then the clarity creates harmony and joy and happiness and all of those moments that you're going for,
That's crazy. We talked about that last night at the hotel, We talked about the idea of lowering and raising your frequency.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, to deal with us, you have to raise your frequency. Like, we're not going to lower our frequency.
Absolutely not.
To engage with anybody.
Absolutely not.
So you have to raise your frequency, and that goes right in line with bodyguarding. That goes right in line with the business, because you want people to raise to your level. You want people to come to your level. You don't want to go lower your level in order to interact with them.
Yeah, and that's the irony. Once you achieve, and this is of course just my opinion, once you achieve a certain way of interacting, it's actually impossible for someone to lower yours. Right? It's almost like look at our star, right? Our solar system. The attractiveness of our sun has the planets in the system orbiting around it, right? It doesn't. What happens on Earth is not going to affect the gravitational pull that the sun has on the system around it, right? So if you're effective at your energy, you're automatically going to pull people into whatever it is that you have going on. Now, the thing is, if other people have this power too, right? So if someone is chaotic or they have a bunch of drama around them, well, that's their universe around them.
And they pull people
into their universe.
To that chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so if yours is clear of chaos, your partner's is clear of chaos.
You have to be clear of chaos in order to step into our field, in order to come into our zone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's important.
You have to be clear of chaos.
You have to be clear of chaos.
Yes.
In order to deal with us. And
that makes sense.
Especially in order to deal with me. Because I can't have no chaos. And people look at it and say, well, that's kind of hypocritical for what you do. But understand, that wavelength carries through what we do. It may appear to be chaos, but it's clarity to us because we control the environment. And if we control the environment, then we can make sure, you know what I'm saying, it's not chaotic. Like, for instance, we had Super Bowl in Tampa. Now, you got to understand, this is probably, I'm not a real football dude. I'm going to just keep it a buck. I don't really, you know what I'm saying?
But we do have someone that is an authority on it that we're going to go in
till
on.
They call through and get through. But Tampa was the first time, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the first time that this team where they're holding the Super Bowl is in the Super Bowl. So the Tampa Bay Bucks are playing in the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
First home court advantage in the history of Super Bowls.
I believe. Okay. In history. That's a fact? Okay, perfect.
Fact check. That's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, can we call the D? Okay, word. D Salaam.
So that right there creates a unknowing, right? Because you've never done it before.
Right.
So you don't know how the city's going to react. You don't know how the people's going to react.
Absolutely. Not to mention the hype around Brady and the 7th title. He's been there 1 year. It's like,
the
hype is out of the,
the whole story is off the Richters.
It's off the Richters.
And that's why I really want to talk to somebody who knows a lot about it too, because you got to, at what point does the narrative carry more power than the actual game?
True. Now, that's an excellent question too. Absolutely ask him that. And then I think one of the things to consider off rip, it holds some weight.
Right.
Then it would be like, how much weight does it weigh?
Does it?
And
does it have an effect unconsciously? Does it have an effect unconsciously on the people involved in the game?
It has to,
because now we're talking about the referees, man, and people try to act like it's a conspiracy theory or it's far fetched. Look, I don't deny the fact that Tampa Bay had a superior defense. I don't deny the fact that Brady's an excellent quarterback. Mm-hmm. I don't deny the fact that they probably would have won, but you cannot tell me that those calls that were made in that game
weren't questionable.
Right. And you can't tell me that the lack of calls on Tampa Bay isn't questionable at all. This shit is questionable, and I don't have a dog in the fight. I didn't care who won.
Right, exactly.
But
you just looking at it as a commentator, I'm just looking at it. This is a little slight. Yeah,
I'm just looking at it,
a little stacked.
Being at the game, and people, you watch the game. I was there at the game.
Yeah,
and the environment, the influence of the narrative on the game,
right,
was amazing. Man.
Can't be overlooked though.
Can't be overlooked.
It can't.
You got a quarterback who changes teams.
He's a living legend. He's a living legend.
Living legend. 6 Super Bowls. You've got a quarterback that decides to go to another team, and in that year that he goes, the first year, he goes to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Even without it, I mean, there's validity in that question. I think that's a great question. But then even on the other side of that, aside from that, the amount of real life magical things can't be overlooked. So of course it's going to have an effect on the people playing because they're part of a historic moment. Just imagine a referee not wanting to miss a call.
Not wanting to miss a call.
In a historic. So then it'll be like, oh, the damn refs were, so if they're going to err on anything.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not questioning the honor of these referees.
Of the officiating, right. That's a good point to make.
I'm just saying.
That's a good point to make.
I'm just saying, at what point does the narrative become so powerful in the unconscious mind that you unconsciously act in a way that promotes that same narrative? Because you've been told that narrative.
Like a type of hypnosis almost.
Like it's been embedded in you. That
NLP, like some neuro-linguistic programming just from being in the field.
Right.
He's on the line. D Salaam is on the line.
What's happening? Patch him through, my man.
What's going on, brother?
Yes. D, okay, let me just give like a brief intro just before we start talking.
Please.
Okay, so now this brother is aside from, being an amazing singer and an amazing group, the lead singer for Shai, just from a family kind of, brother from another mother type of entity.
Yeah,
he's that. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, I know. See, he don't. I remember. I remember me and James. D Salaam, no, I remember. I was a baby.
right.
Hey, D, you know.
Yes, sir.
I was a baby. And,
jumping off couches.
Right. And I was used as a straight wrecking ball. You know what I'm saying? I was the honorary pit bull at that age.
At that age.
Yeah. You remember? Yeah.
So we sitting here chopping it up on the Super Bowl, and I dubbed you as what I would consider to be an authority on the matter of, like a deep analysis of the game. So, he has some questions. We were just kind of chopping it up. Where you came in, we were talking about the officiating, and even more so than the officiating, the amount of just kind of hype energy around all of the aspects of this particular game. First home game, in Super Bowl history. Brady going for 7th win, first year on the team, taking them to the Super Bowl. So we were saying, from your standpoint, what was your question that you had for him?
My question is, do you think the narrative had a large effect on how the referees officiated the game? And was the game swayed in Brady's favor because of that narrative?
Well, first, yeah, I agree. I think the narrative definitely weighed heavily on everybody. Refs, producers, everybody involved in the brand, the NFL brand.
Facts.
So, and also, I think everything was set in motion. Like you said, the refs and everything was set in motion to give Brady all the assistance he needed.
Everything he needed, absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a couple of calls. Definitely, it was either one or two things or both. They definitely trying to make the game more offensive. They want the brand to be more about scores and highlights as opposed to tough defense and hits and concussions. That's their,
right.
That's their thing.
And even the idea of like I said, I'm not a football expert. But when you make a questionable call, right? The idea is like if you make a questionable call on one team,
you do a makeup call.
You got to do a makeup call on the other team
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be in that gray area on one side of the field,
sure,
you're gonna have to be on the gray area on the other side of the field.
It's a makeup call.
It's
a makeup call.
They never did that. Like they never did that. It was like every call on Kansas City could go either way, and no calls on Tampa. So even got to a point where dude said was like either Tampa played the perfect game,
right, from a penalty standpoint,
where they made no mistakes,
right,
or the refs just didn't see their mistakes,
didn't call them. Yeah,
and I think that's huge, man. Like that, they have a real gripe. I think Kansas City has a real gripe for favoritism for Tampa Bay and favoritism for Brady.
Right. Now, I will say this. I got a little insider knowledge on the Brady effect on refs, and we're specific to penalties.
Okay.
And, I don't know if y'all remember, it takes me back to one game, one of the first times they showed early in the season when Brady kind of blew up on his offensive lineman, when they had about 2-3 penalties in a row. I don't know if you remember that. It was like week 3 or something.
Okay.
And, the cameras are ready to show any kind of dysfunction, you know what I mean? Any kind of problems in Tampa Bay, and I remember they showed that, and Brady was like, "How the fuck could we win a championship with these penalties like this?" I remember that was a quote.
Oh,
that's
a soundbite right there.
Right. Yeah, so basically, basically calling attention to the refs, like, nah, y'all gonna have to officiate if you really want this to happen. If you really want this to go down how we planned it,
y'all got to get on board.
Y'all gonna have to, you know what I'm saying?
Two things, because he was talking to his lineman actually when he said it. You know what I mean? But like when you go to same thing in New England, you look at the data on penalties. They were one of the least penalized teams on offense for years.
Wow.
So it could speak to. Tom is making sure they have as little penalties as possible, or he's bringing attention to the refs, like.
Now, see, and that's interesting. That's interesting that you say that because everybody thought it was Belichick in New England. Everybody thought Belichick, the head coach, was the influence that was kind of manipulating games. You know, they had the inflate gate with the balls, right? They had Belichick. They had Belichick's team recording the practices of other teams. Like they have a history in New England of doing some real questionable shit, right?
Yeah.
Everybody assumed it was Belichick and that Brady was clean and he was just going along with whatever Belichick did. I think you really start to see now, and what's been exposed now is no, this has always been Brady's thing.
Oh, well, he definitely would have some say in the matter. When you look at a coach and the star,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Who ran the Bulls more? You know, it was Jordan's team. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even there was a coach to kind of call the plays. It was like you knew whose team it was. You know?
I mean, you know, I'm not hating on the dude. Like I ain't got no skin in the game, so I'm not hating on the dude. I congratulate him and congratulate what he's done. I'm just saying, just keep the game fair, keep it somewhat enjoyable, because when you watching a game like that, and it's clearly swayed, it's clearly looking like there's some nefarious shit going on.
Right.
It just makes you not really want to watch the game.
Yeah, and it mars something, because a lot of, you know, I didn't see the whole game, and nor am I like a big football buff either. Right. But, you know, from just what I've researched and, you know, kind of what I've heard afterwards, they're already an amazing team in a lot of categories already. Short of any type of... I would think that they wouldn't want the officials to, you know, like, because then it kind of questions their victory. Like,
on an honor tip, you want to win honorably. Right?
Yes.
You don't want to win by a whole bunch of, you know.
I'll say this. So, in all fairness, you know, they're a brand and they're trying to promote their brand. Brady's been the face of the brand for a while. You know what I mean? The main face of the brand. And then also, too, like I said, the game becoming more offensive and highlights and all that. So that's what's drawing numbers.
Right. That's where they get the bread.
The refereeing and all of that is going to reflect that, you know, that plan, right? Yeah. So, but back when the defense was the face and Ray Lewis was the face, I remember they sacked your boy Gannon and broke his collarbone. The ref looked the other way. Like,
facts. Now that was a huge. That's funny you bring up Ray Lewis, because that Baltimore run to the Super Bowl, there was a whole narrative on that one. You know, Ray Lewis being Ray Lewis coming from the gutter, you know, charged with murder and beat the case and came back and was super religious. Like, he had a whole narrative behind him.
True.
Going to the Super Bowl.
True. So that's a good point that you bring up. So you're saying, how strong are these narratives on the outcome?
These narratives, bro. These narratives that they create all season. Like, that Ray Lewis season started from the day the season opened up. They were on him like as if he was supposed to be this saving grace to football, and he was supposed to be the shining example of somebody who, you know, got in trouble and cleaned his life up and became a mentor. He was talking to high school kids and preaching on Sundays, like the whole
180,
bullshit.
the 180,
exactly. And I ain't got nothing against Ray Lewis either. He's a good dude as far as I know, but that narrative and the narratives they jump behind these players, man, it's something to it, and it's becoming more obvious.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, even when the Patriots won that year with the Snowgate, whatever that was.
Facts.
You know, after 2000 and 2001, 9/11, the whole line. I mean,
facts.
That was an obvious one. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. So, most definitely, man. I was watching this documentary to kind of, you know, take it to basketball for a second, but it speaks to the same dynamic. There's a good documentary about Dr. J called The Doctor.
Oh, okay.
And they check that out. But they go in, you know, with the ABA and how Dr. J was the face of the ABA, and then, you know, and then they were like battling with the NBA as far as viewership and fans and all that. So ultimately they merged, and Doc was pretty much the face. And the point is, they're speaking when back in Hurricane, you know, and Jordan, and you can see the rule changes and all the different things as, like you say, each narrative behind each player was set in motion, you know.
Right. Scripted.
Yeah, when Jordan came, that physical ball that the Pistons were playing, they had, you know, Jordan rules. They wanted to see Jordan fly in the air because that's what sold tickets, you know.
Right. It's a money thing, man. It's an interest thing, and regardless if people want to acknowledge it or not, the referee's primary job is to do what's the best interest of the brand, is to facilitate the best interest of the NFL, the best interest of the Shield, the best interest of the NBA.
Yep.
And when you go back and pay attention and watch some of this shit, it's clear, it's obvious, man. Larry Bird. I mean, I was a baby when I remember the narrative around Larry Bird, and they made him like God in Boston.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even the juxtaposition with him and Magic Johnson. You know what I mean? Then the first ever 6'9" point guard, him versus Bird. Those battles, LA versus.
Come on, man, and that's a whole nother story, man. The healthiest dying man I've ever seen in life. You understand what I'm saying?
He is dying.
Please, somebody explain that to me.
Explain that. Please. He got AIDS and then got real strong.
Immortal.
Right.
He had AIDS and immortal. He's the healthiest. It's like you got to be kidding me, dog. That was
he gonna be
80s.
like 170. Like yes, and
exactly. Right. Like, come on, man. At some point, we got to start paying attention to the propaganda, because the propaganda is clearly at play, and it's powerful, man. It's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
When you pay attention to the propaganda and how they make shit look and how they make shit sound, it's amazing. Like, we'll get into Judas and the Black Messiah a little bit later, but the propaganda machine is crazy.
Yeah.
The movies.
It's an entity. An entity. So then, I mean, I feel like once you get into that, like the propaganda machine, do you fault... Even taking the analogy of chess, right?
Right.
Do you fault me for trying to trap you?
At all? No, not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
So it's like now us knowing that, and this is my issue, us knowing that, we can't get mad when they successfully carry out the propaganda machine, but then also taking note of, we can use this because it's a science. Propaganda is a science. We can use the propaganda in a positive way to do whatever it is that we see fit as well.
And like D said, when he brought up the ABA, you have to understand, everybody understood the ABA was a more exciting game. It was a better game. It looked better. The players were better. So you had all this influence that the NBA brought, and they basically just took over the ABA, just purely strong-armed it, where if we could have kept it, who knows what the ABA would have been under black leadership. Who knows what the ABA would have been if all the players just would have stuck together and did not cross over to the NBA. But as you see,
that's a good point.
A league that's 80% black.
Is it that low?
I think it's somewhere around there. Don't quote me on it, but it's
Fact
definitely right.
What's the percentage of African Americans in India? You give them the Google search.
Exactly.
The percentage of African Americans currently in the NBA.
All right. So paying attention to it, then you see, like, man, the way they corral our talents and our skills and make money off of it and profit off of it. You can be mad at it, but damn, it makes sense.
That was look at that. That was excellent.
Yeah,
you were like less than like 6% off.
Come on,
beautiful.
Come on,
yeah. 3 out of 4
facts.
We can say 3 out of 4
facts.
That's easy.
So 3 out of 4. So facts. Looking at all those black players, looking at the league as it is now today, if we had controlling interest in it, you almost got to ask yourself, like, it's definitely not by mistake that you don't find ownership that reflect the players, right? At 74%, we should be what? Out of the ownership, we should have
at least 50%.
At least,
you know what I'm saying? Give up 25%, but still. Okay, so now just so that it's not complaining, because that's kind of the motto. We can't introduce something without posing a possible solution. Okay, so now us knowing this, almost 75% of the NBA, which we know it generates. That would be an interesting fact check too, to see how much the NBA generates annually. Billions. Is it? I bet it's in the hundreds of billions. Yeah. Right. Pre-corona. You know what I'm saying? But then, what do we do knowing that? What do we do knowing that?
Well,
right.
You see, it's starting to take hold with the youth. They got their own little basketball channels already on YouTube. You know what I mean? As far as the youth, Yeah, they don't even, and it would be interesting, like you said, to look at the numbers of where the youth, their viewership is in the equation, right?
That's true, because that's the next generation, right? That's your new viewership.
True.
And I don't think they're tuned in the way we did. You know, my son, I can't get him to watch a whole game. He just send me the highlights, Dad.
Facts. That's how I watch him. Send me the highlights. I watch the hight clips, man. Right.
And then, but what they do tune into is all the high school ballers channels. You know, their own peers, and then college. You know, they'll follow, you know, their peers into like first, second year of college. You know, so. You know, if anything, my son is watching, you know, is like I said, he'll watch the college games because he knows these cats, so follow them, you know, on their high school channel, you know. And I think the LeVar Ball.
Yeah, that was a power move. That was a power move. That was a power move.
And immediately the NBA responded. See, people, it kind of flew under the radar, but after Ball did what he did, the NBA immediately responded by paying G Leaguers almost what is it, $100,000 a year or something like that. They started playing the G League to basically destroy LeVar Ball's plan, because LeVar Ball's plan was, come play with us. Yeah, you don't have to do a year in college. You don't have to go to college. Just come play with us. We'll get you ready for the league.
Straight up.
G League immediately. Right. Nah, y'all come play with us. We'll give you $100,000.
Right,
we'll give you a contract. We'll just create
a minor league. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's definitely a pattern of behavior of every time we make a move, they take the move, just like a chessboard, you know what I'm saying, and use it against us.
And I'm glad you brought that back into the chess too. I feel like one of the things that we continue to do that I would encourage us not to do is foreshadowing our moves, right? So if I'm playing a chess game, I'm not just looking at my pieces and saying, oh, my pieces are so well positioned. I'm looking at my opponent's pieces on how well positioned they are as well. I feel like that's what we're not doing. Facts. Not knowing, okay, if you have a lock on the NBA and you see somebody trying to take your players and you have way more money, and then you try and make it real big before you get the full buy-in and have the money bubbling, right? They're going to stamp that shit out, right? Just stop it. Stop. You know what I'm saying? But if we kept it to a point where, you know, it was some kind of, you know, sign a contract to do this before we even launch it, and then we have this many contracts.
We definitely have a problem with just giving out way too much information. We have a problem of wanting to
giving out way too much information.
What we're doing before we even do it.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be a big issue, especially in the future. Like, we're going to have to be able
that has to stop.
Yeah. We're going to have to be able to work in secret on some form to keep these people from ruining every goddamn thing we come up with. It's amazing, man.
It is. I mean, but also if you look at it, like I said, from the standpoint of it's a chess game and it's your duty to do that.
Facts.
It's like we could call it secrecy, but it's not even that deep where we're at. It's just privacy at this point. Facts. If people could just learn to be like, okay, so certain things that we're trying to do, power moves, we need to keep that private.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then implement. I feel like we're lacking on. Or I would encourage us to be more implementation based versus, you know, saying what we're going to do to then have someone come in and sabotage.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, it's interesting because at a time when Big Brother is everywhere, right? There is no privacy.
Oh yeah, we're in an age of exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Seeming privacy.
Yeah, but then at the same time, the good thing about it is like that old saying, like ain't nothing new under the sun, and we don't got to recreate the wheel, right? So just like we said, the ABA was, you know, like LeVar Ball, that situation is just like the ABA situation. You know what I mean? And we have. You know, I don't know if LeVar Ball's league is still, you know, operational, but we got a couple of other leagues that, you know, we can start just supporting that.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's something about, you know, going through the power group. You know what I mean? Let's say their matrix. You know, if they don't put their stamp on us, we don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And something
that's that internalized racism.
That.
It is.
Right. That thing right there is what we got to work on.
Yeah, white ice is cold.
Yeah, like we'll
that's a great name for a book. White ice is colder.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, man. I think, like you said, with the youth and them starting up their own programs and doing their things, we have to start to support. Like you said, the support is what's most important, man. What we support grows, and what we support, you know, can become bigger to a point where they can't just come and take it like they do everything. The reason why they're able to take everything from us is because we lack the support for it. Mm-hmm. And as long as in the mind we think white ice is colder and we think we could just, you know, fuck it, I'll sell out into this and I'll go buy, you know, corporations. BET, greatest example ever of something that should have been preserved, something that should have been
generational
and cultural. The cultural responsibility of having a black-owned TV network should have been worth more than selling to
any number.
Yeah, than selling to Viacom. Yeah. But once again, you know, we thought it was just such a great deal for a black man to make so much money that we handed the keys over, and it ain't been right ever since.
That's real. You bring up a really interesting point too when you touch on culture, right? They did a study between African Americans and Asian Americans and found that Asian Americans or immigrants that come here from Asia have a lower self-esteem, but a higher cultural esteem. African Americans have a higher self-esteem, but a lower cultural esteem. So like with the BET distinction, that should have just been a cultural esteem. Like that's not even on the table.
Like we're not.
Like that's not even on the table.
Like it's not a question. That's not even an argument. That's not even a thing that could be bought. You see what I'm saying?
And if it is, let's say that it's still a capitalist system. So you want to build it to then sell it, right? That's the colorless part. But from a culture standpoint, we should have someone within the community step up. If we are going to sell it and it is going to be something, it's going to be the baton being passed from, one African, to another one. It's like, okay, I got 1.5 bill.
Right.
Now I got, now it's and then they keep it in the family and then someone else comes up and they're like, I got the baton now.
It should have been sold within the culture.
Within the culture, yeah.
Yo, so D, I appreciate you. Hey man, tell us something about what's going on, man. With the music, with the group, what you got going on?
Oh, man, fortunately for us, man, the fans want to see the 90s artists out there on the road. So the touring's been good before the COVID.
Right.
Touring was good, and hopefully it picks back up soon. The social media offers direct to consumers, so we just galvanizing our fan base and trying to, create some content and get it to the fans and still creating music and also, too, like me and your brother talk about a lot, I'm trying to create some, I call it edutainment.
Edutainment.
There you go.
Edutainment program and content, and you give the game, set up some pipelines, and we can give the game down to the youth and set them up to move up the ladder, you know what I mean? Some positions out here and be prepared as possible for opportunities.
Yo, man, that's a great thing because I think it's important for us to start focusing on our children a lot more.
Absolutely.
And they need that 90s music.
Exactly. Love
they
music.
They need to hear.
It is.
They need to hear.
Yo, I literally just made a song with a Shai sample like a few days ago. Like literally, bro. It's crazy.
You got him on the line. Lead singer Shai right there. Shout out G too. I wanted, because we talking about, a lot of the black excellence. This is, African American History Month. G, Garfield Albright of Shai as well. Completed his PhD and is a doctor, so now is Dr. Bright.
Shit.
So I really, as an academician, I want to just recognize that that's not an easy feat, regardless of the institution, to go through with that and see it through.
That's powerful.
So respect, all love to you, G, and and everything that Shai is doing as well, man. The 90s, that whole 90s thing, and the fact that you guys were actually coming and approaching your audience in a type of, I mean, because of the whole Shai brand and moniker with the ancient Egyptian symbology, I feel like that's an important education piece. Like you said, the edutainment, I feel like the sky is the limit with what y'all can do with that piece, with the whole ancient Egyptian and Shai and, what it means and, all of the elements of what you're rolling out as far as community empowerment as well.
Indeed. Yeah. Hopefully, man, that's the plan. So, we putting together some ideas right now and laying out some blueprints. So,
no, I think it's amazing, man. I'm waiting on the Shai Unsung. We
That's it.
We binge watch Unsung. We binge watch Unsung all the time. And I'm waiting on the Shai one, man.
It's coming. I
saw the H-Town one. I saw the Silk. It's like, man, they got to do. They got to.
They got to. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they called us already. It was unfortunately, two of the original members left the group early on.
Right.
And we picked up a couple of guys. Actually, remember the movie Lean on Me?
Yeah.
I went to that school. That was my high school.
Oh, okay.
And and the guys singing in the bathroom, those are actually my friends. They're actually a group called Riff.
Oh, okay.
So I picked up a couple of those guys, and they've been filling in for us for the last few years as far as Shai shows on the road. But point is, Unsung, they need at least 3 original members to do an episode. So when they called us, we couldn't, those 2 didn't want to do it.
We're going to have to double back on that. We're going to have to double back on that. Or my whole thing is, I'm so big in restorative justice, right? You guys are like,
hey, man.
I'm going to work on that. I'm gonna work on that.
I got you.
We need an independent documentary then.
That's right. We gonna get the reunion so that the Unsung can happen. Even if y'all just get on the stage and do it just one more time and still don't like each other.
Hey, there you go. Everything is possible, man. Forgiveness is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
right.
Facts. Well, I appreciate you calling in, brother.
Hey, man, anytime, bro.
All right.
Enjoy the work. Keep up the good work, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, D. Thanks, D.
Thank you.
All right, bro.
Peace. All right, peace.
Take care.
Peace, man. Shai, man. That takes
me
back.
Oh, my God. And then with D, the funny thing with D, because he's an alpha. I'm an alpha, right? So I pledged alpha. He pledged beta chapter alpha.
Okay.
Which is the first chapter of alpha was at Cornell in Ithaca, New York, which is a predominantly white university.
Okay.
Right? The Jewels.
Okay.
But then the first chapter at a historically black college and university is beta chapter, which is, he pledged beta, right, at Howard. So it's like beta chapter, even though it's not the alpha chapter, is kind of like culturally, in my opinion, people, I would take hits for this, I'm sure, just for like, but this is just my opinion.
All right. Killa Jay. Let's get him through.
Right.
Get him through.
What's going on, man? What's up, Tank? What's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
What's up?
I just seen you.
Yeah. Just got off the airplane, man.
Yo, what's the word?
This whole time, let me see. First of all, we got to shout out, because me and Tank, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, we had the experience. We've done security for years. We've never had a chance to work with black veterans. And these fellas, this squad in Tampa, this squad on my boss's birthday, I work with some real good soldiers, man. I just want to say shout out to all the black veterans. I'm happy and appreciative you were able to work with the Horseman. Thank you, fellas.
Oh, man.
Nice shout out.
Amazing job.
Nice
and I want to get into that because I don't think people understand the importance of what was done and what was accomplished. You're talking about Super Bowl weekend. We'll start there. We're talking about Super Bowl weekend. We're talking about doing after parties. We're talking about securing a client in the first city to have and host and play in their Super Bowl. And we were able to do that. Killa Jay, talk about how not only you put together probably one of the greatest security teams on a Super Bowl weekend.
On a Super Bowl weekend.
Doing a private event in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of a chaos of a team winning the Super Bowl, right, in the same state. Talk about that and how important that was.
Oh, Tank, it's one thing we need. It's the one thing, listen to me. We need a female security guard, because after the Super Bowl and after this last party, we need a female security. Because I can't keep
female security team.
I can't keep dealing with the lipstick mafia. We need 2 good females, man. If we got to share applications or whatever the case is, we need
there
2 strong.
Said by Killa Jay.
Female security for Horseman. and Big Tank. We need this, please.
Exactly.
There it is.
Too many of the like as my brother just said, lipstick mafia members running off at the mouth. We need female. We need female protection to handle that.
They said lipstick mafia
immediately.
Right
now to go stand for your this Tampa was. Listen, I've done a lot of things other than different security world, and that was the biggest thing I've done so far. That was like the final feather in my belt. The Super Bowl, man, because I was blessed to have a boss to be able to really, really, really prosper during the pandemic and really be successful, and keep the soldiers taken care of.
Yeah.
And he was able to put on a show, and the fact I worked hand in hand with so many different aspects of law enforcement. I was with the FBI, I was with the DEA, the ATF, Secret Service, all to make sure my boss was straight, and myself and Tank made sure the property was taken care of. Then the after party, which was chaos. You can't even imagine. The home team won a game. The party is right on the main strip.
Downtown.
High possibility for riot.
Listen, there was. They were in the midst of it. We threw a party in the midst of a riot. Cars are on the streets burning.
Yeah.
As we're throwing a party for not only members of the team, because we had guys who played on the team that came out to the party too. We're talking about the halftime performer.
Yep.
In the game.
Yeah.
We're doing his party.
Right.
And not a soul was touched. It was amazing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
It was amazing. No issues. You don't see any. Go ahead, Jay.
This is what people don't realize. So me and Tank always say this. When you have these superstar parties, right, you're going to cater to all spectrums of life. You're going to have top A-list celebrities.
Yep.
You're going to have A-list females, A-list athletes. You're going to have A-list rappers. Then you're going to have the A-list street soldiers there and their whole entire entourage. So it's a buffet of what you got at these type of parties.
Right.
You're not just bumping into, Paul and Pete. There's people that look like us at these parties.
Right.
Stone cold killers.
Yeah.
Moving around with models.
Yeah.
and IG actors.
So, we had to secure that situation, and we held it down. I was just blessed that Tampa, just because me and Tank have worked, and I've worked hand to hand with law enforcement and people there, and they provided such a good look. Like we had the X's, ins and outs of strategy we put together. We put together the greatest plan how to move this guy around. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. I mean, you
say that
you got to understand the staffing, and this is something only Horseman could do, and this is something I've only witnessed Killa Jay do, is to be able to staff these events and staff these people, these artists, and provide them with security, top-notch security anywhere in the country.
Right, really,
you gotta understand,
the world, really, because you guys are even with the world tours, right?
Absolutely, France, Africa,
right?
You can go damn near anywhere in the world and say the name Horseman, and you'll have gentlemen who understand, know who we are, know what we do, and are willing to protect us.
Tank will tell you, another A-list celebrity, he landed at 9:30 at the private airport. I got a call at 8:05. This guy needs 3 armed security from Friday to Monday. Don't you know I put together a straight Spetsnaz team on him, plus 2 vehicles?
All within an hour.
All within an hour.
Yeah.
There's
can
no
we go into the numbers, Killa Jay? Because I'm kind of I'm a science guy, and I love the fact that because this is like you said, this is like your magnus opus as far as like putting together and working with all these different agencies to secure really the whole event in essence. Like if that's the halftime show, that's the payload right there, right? So how do you approach it as far as like numbers of people in certain areas? How do you break it down, like from a project management standpoint? What's a snapshot into your mind?
So based upon, say if you're taking a client to like any type of location, a restaurant, a nightclub, a lounge, first thing, the advance team, the reconnaissance team has to go there.
Advance team.
Every entrance, you have to put a body. All right.
Now, is that body? Is it a conspicuous body, or is it just someone on your team that is just at the door?
You know what? That was a very good question. So now, sometimes, say if the client is just going to have dinner with somebody, we might put a sale over there. You don't even know this person is with us, but he's my eyes and ears the whole entire time.
Yep.
He has a walkie-talkie and he's texting me. This is what's going on. I'll give you a prime example. The reason why I say that. A few days ago, Strawberry Shortcake caught this rapper in a garage. And Strawberry Shortcake flashed on the rapper. Now, the thing about these funny rappers, these street dudes, common sense is you protect your transportation. One of your guards is supposed to be by your vehicle. So had Strawberry Shortcake saw the man had somebody by the vehicle, the guy inside would have known that Strawberry Shortcake was outside running his mouth.
Absolutely.
That's a prime example.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean, your advanced team. We said this in the beginning, everybody can't walk with the principle.
Right, right. That's so key to reiterate that it's such a team concept, and everyone, the point guard is not the off guard, is not the forward, is not the center. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Everybody has a job.
Everybody has to play their position. Everybody has a job to do. And
we always play deep. I tell everybody, the two most overlooked positions on a football field playing defense is the strong and free safety, because they clean up all the traffic.
Facts. And that's the importance.
We gonna play that run super hard, and if you pass on us, we're gonna knock that shit down.
Right.
And that's the importance. That's the importance of it. And that's what these clients really have a hard time understanding and a hard time seeing. It looks good after the fact. Everybody can Monday night quarterback the Sunday game. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. In hindsight.
It always looks good in hindsight.
2020. Right. Hindsight is 2020. Right?
Once everybody is home, once everybody's healthy, once everything is good, it's always easier to go back and say, well, it wasn't that difficult. No, you have no idea the difficulty it takes to put men in place, to get good men, to train those men,
right,
and have them in a position to be able to protect people who are worth millions and millions of dollars.
Just imagine this, right? Just imagine this. We need two examples, right? You said about staffing, right? So, say the after party. One person thought we only need 5 people. There was 12 ways to get into this establishment, so 5 doesn't count, okay? So therefore, I had to use 12 people, and that place was secure from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Right.
From the moment the client pulls up, from the moment the client gets back in the car and headed home, he has to be protected, and there has to be a staff around him at that point. Jay's responsible for doing that.
I like how you pinpoint the areas of egress, like the entrances and exits, and then base the number off of the ways to enter. That's it's real scientific, and in order to move in and out of any type of physical building or location, you have to go through a door normally. I mean, of course, there's windows and things like that, but but even covering the doors, entrances and exits have to be manned and covered, because you have to be able to protect the establishment and inside the establishment. But that's just the entrances and exits. You still have the floors. You still have the tables. You still have the sections. You still have the key clients who are in the club. They still need to be protected. Sure.
Because if something happens to somebody who's a guest at our party, who's responsible?
Right.
The first persons they look at is Horseman.
Of course.
You guys are supposed to be responsible for protecting the party.
Yeah.
So to come after the fact and say, well, you guys could have did more with less.
Sure.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Totally.
And imagine this. So I said about exit. So you know for a fact you got to have the boss's car put in a secure location. You got to have the chase car, which is the most important car, put in a secure location. Then you got to have an exit strategy car just in case. So we have 3 exits to get out in 3 different vehicles staged in case something happens. Then remember, all these establishments have a smoking section. So you have to open the door. The door's open. You got to man the door because somebody could walk on through.
Right. That was one of the questions that I had in areas where the exit is just this big nebulous, like an airport, right? Yeah. There's hundreds and hundreds of entrances and exits. How do you do it in a scenario where it's not feasible to cover every entrance and exit because of that, because it's so big?
Well, we've been blessed like this. All places have kitchens have what? A loading dock. So you have one car, one truck down there. You have a driver and security personnel by the loading dock. So he has that way covered. You have the elevator going to the downstairs garage. You have somebody downstairs by that. That's covered. You have every door covered. You have the bathroom door that leads to the outside. That's covered. So we're fortunate enough. I put together a great team and had everything situated. Then, like, say we went to a party situation. Mm-hmm. You have a party. You have to control the front gate. You got to have one of your security, cannot have the ego. He has to control all transportation because we can't get the driveway blocked up. So it's a situation where you drop off in a Sprinter, the van, or the SUV, or the town car. They have to drop off and leave, regardless of who the client was. In the car could have been Jay-Z. Sir, nice. You can drop off your car, come back, get you 5 minutes before you walk out. Facts. So you have to control all that. See, that's the thing people think about. Then you got to remember, is it gravel? Is it asphalt? Because cars park in sand and dirt. Sprinters get stuck in soft sand.
It's brilliant.
So you got to push the sprinter out. See, people don't think all that. Remember, a lot of these wealthy homes, these neighborhoods, these entertainers live in, half of these neighborhoods are equestrian neighborhoods. So their driveway might be cobblestone, which a girl in high heels, she could walk up the hill, snap the heel, twist her ankle, she could sue the boss because her footwear wasn't made for the driveway.
Right. I mean, this level of detail. I'm glad you're getting into, because it really is the level of detail that people can't really appreciate because, like you said, no one notices when you do it right.
No one.
Know what I'm saying? That's the whole point.
They're oblivious.
Is that no one notices.
They're oblivious to what it takes to get it done right.
Yes.
Right? So to them, and that's kind of our downfall as horsemen, because you're always expected to be that good.
Right.
The horseman's always expected to be that good.
Right.
You're always expected to get the job done.
And then you're accepting that. You're like, no, that's who we are.
Exactly.
We're not going to take the job unless we know that we can do it in this way for maximum.
Keep that same energy when it's time to get paid.
All the parts.
Right.
I agree with this. Two of the greatest people I've ever seen run, say, the phones and the NDAs get signed. Smitty, we was with this other guy. Smitty had the most incredible phone system for people to check in their phones and sign the paper. And Nico was the best advanced man I have ever seen in my life.
All day.
Those two guys right there. Smitty was he ran the best phone system. In case you know, that's when you come to the private party. You have to sign an NDA. You have to give up your phone. Your phone, he say your name on the paper. My name is John Black. John Black, I have an iPhone 6. What bus you got off? I got off bus 1. So in that Ziploc bag says iPhone 6, John Black, bus 1. So your phone is put in a box with all the other people off bus 1. Then on the paper that you signed about NDA, it says your name, John Black, cell phone, what state you're from. Damn. So it goes to ID. That's how, you know what I'm saying? And this is not something management gives us. We have our own system where we carry our own
create
stuff.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. This isn't dictates from a higher
this is innovation. This is innovation.
These are purely things that horsemen do. Nobody else does that. Mm-hmm. There's no juxtapose Killa Jay with somebody else who does all these things. This is something we only do. This is something he only does.
Yeah.
So when people
these are brand secrets,
right? So when people try to gauge our worth, there's no one to compare us to, right? So our worth is what we say it is.
Sure,
right? The cost is what we say it is, because there's no one else to compare it to.
That does what you do,
right? That says, okay, cool. Well, we paid such and such this amount of money. Such and such can't do what we do, right? Such and such isn't capable of making the moves that Killa Jay is. So if Killa Jay says it costs this, that's what the cost.
Right.
That's the cost.
Yeah.
You walk into Louis Vuitton. You're not arguing with the motherfucker at Louis Vuitton.
I don't know how much
over the bag
is.
That's what the cost is
on
the bag
it. It's written on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's written on it.
It's written on it. Right.
Some stores don't even have a tag.
Right. They just tell you. Bring it up and we'll tell you how much it is at the time you ask.
And if you ask how much it is, they ask you to leave.
Basically.
You see what I'm saying? If you ask how much it is, it's too much for you. You can't afford it.
Yeah, right.
And that's the same thing. We are a high-end bag when it comes to the protection industry.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Up.
It's a high-end bag.
Dope.
If you need to know how much it costs, you cannot afford it. The cost is what we say it is, because there's no one else to compare it to.
We're the people making you be able to carry your bag without problems.
Without somebody taking it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, it's so irritating because, in this industry we deal with it all the time. It's never the main artist. It's never the client. The client understands the value. He knows how much he's worth. He knows how much it's worth to be protected.
To protect himself, right.
It's the people around the client. See, it's the people around the client who think they have some type of expertise in what we do and can tell us how we can do it. You can't tell us how we can do it because, like I said before, there's nobody else
that can do what
we do.
Right.
So for you to tell me how much something's going to cost to do it,
stay in your lane.
Exactly. It's not your lane to be able to tell me how much it costs. You don't know how much. You don't know.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It is the worst part about sometimes the entourage. Majority of all entourages are made up of grown men living like side bitches. So it's used to a man buying his clothes, buying his food, and for his
hold up. Okay, go ahead.
So at the end of the day, that man forgets that he's a man. He takes on emotional feelings. So his entitlement is crazy. Listen to me. In the history of men, we've always we've always hunted, we've always killed, we've always protected, we always build, we always conquered. When you take a man and he does none of that, it's like cutting off a dog's balls. You killed his nature. So when you got these grown men that care more about wearing Balenciagos, actually doing their job, and then get offended because they have to do a job or they think they're the boss, that's type of stuff. See, every person that does security knows this from a security standpoint. The entourage is the biggest poison in the glass because you're dealing with men that live like side bitches and they get upset because they're so entitled. The only thing he's not getting out the deal is dick.
Right.
Everything else fits.
Everything else fits.
The entire description fits.
You can't even say he don't get lingerie because you don't even know what type of undergarments nigga wear.
He went there.
Nah, man.
You gotta do a panty check.
Facts.
Our dog, we had to coddle so many different personalities. It's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing how patient. It's amazing how the reputation that we have. We have this reputation of being so violent and so impatient. Let me tell you something. The patience it takes for us to do, the patience it takes for this man to do what he does is beyond me. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And he knows.
Yeah.
Jay knows. He knows. There's only a certain level I'll go, and then it's a wrap. We can leave. we could end this right now,
right,
and walk off the gig. You know what I'm saying? But the patience that he takes,
wisdom,
right, and
wisdom,
to be able to manipulate men and to be able to move men without actually moving men. It's a science.
It's a science.
It's a science.
Man. It is a science.
It's a science.
I wanted to, well, I have both of you because, you know, a lot of times, Jay, I don't have you on the line, but I'm talking to my brother and he's referencing you. So while I have both of y'all, I think it would be interesting to get into this Judas and the Black Messiah.
Let me say one thing to interrupt you.
Okay.
I gotta say this, Tank. I want to shout out Rollo. I ain't seen them nigga almost get beat up over pancakes. You held it down this weekend, Rollo. I ain't seen that since the yard, Rollo. Good going, brother. Good going. Go ahead. Go your question.
Somebody got beat up over pancakes.
Damn near got a life taken from over pancakes. Yes.
Rollo was gonna rearrange the dude's face over some pancakes. I ain't seen that since the yard. Good going, Rollo. But go ahead.
No, I was talking about Judas and the Black Messiah. And, you know, since we're talking about protection and, you know, it always comes up. And I'm glad when you said when you were organizing the Super Bowl, the number of agencies that you worked collaboratively with, FBI, DEA, local police, all of this list, fire department, I'm sure, right? First responders. It's on that's on like a sophisticated level of knowing that, okay, I need to effectively work and coordinate with these people from a strategy standpoint, right? That's a very sophisticated, high level understanding of how those entities move, right?
Right.
Because the narrative generally in the community is that the police is the enemy. We live in a police state. It's all of these things intended to control, which does have truth, but also, I feel like there's like this demonized aspect of even working with law enforcement. And then on the other side of the coin, you know, when we bring in Judas and the Black Messiah, with this person was actually an informant. How do you weigh that? How do you rectify that dichotomy that sometimes the police is the good person that you actually work in tandem with, but then in the same entity, there's this element of infiltration and control.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say this to you, right? I'd rather work with a police officer at a venue, at a concert, at a sporting event, because it's going to be all about movement. So I know what to expect from them. I don't like working with police officers on details because then you're scary because no cop's going to fuck their pension up.
No.
Then you're asking a man to go against his oath because he might see some weed. He might see an assault charge. He might see a domestic situation. So I don't trust that type of guy, but the ones that when I get to the venue are there for an hour, 2 hours, or the ones that have security me, I'll deal with them. But I'm not going to deal with the ones on my team where I got to go to point A to point B because I don't know what he's going to do.
Right. It's a mutual respect. It's a mutual respect. When we're dealing with law enforcement, we're dealing with police officers. It's a mutual respect. 9 times out of 10, cops are going to respect what we do because we respect what they do.
Right.
We're not trying to do what you do. Don't try to do what we do. And those are the best officers to deal with. Those are the best police to work with because it's a mutual respect. I don't want to be a cop. I ain't never wanted to be a cop.
Right.
Right.
So I'm saying also to the people that say fuck the police, which there's that cry of fuck the police, but then it's sometimes you have to work collaboratively with the police to get things accomplished.
Absolutely. But the idea is you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to engage. You have to be able to manage the relationships with police. It's not a system where we could walk around and say fuck the police like we never gonna need them. The same people screaming fuck the police are going to call the police the moment something happens.
Boom.
We not calling the police.
Right.
Horseman ain't calling no police.
Yeah.
Right. And the police know that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Jay.
In order to get in any club, like I said, security, any club, any sport event, anything like that, you have to deal with law enforcement. That's just what it is. You're not going to that gallery and parking out front unless you're dealing with law enforcement. You know, so it's all these type of, you're not even going to say the BET Awards. You have to deal with the Atlanta Police Department.
Facts.
So you have to deal with the police department. But it's the guys, like I said before, that prime example, look at Death Row. All them cops Suge had worked for what they're doing. If they're not in jail right now, they're telling about Suge. There you go right there.
He said, and that's dope. You just brought up Death Row because Reggie Wright, who was the head of security for Death Row and who was also a Compton law enforcement, he said the realest thing. Somebody asked him a real question. They said, why why would Suge Knight have police officers working as his security? He said the reason why we had contracts with a lot of these labels and a lot of these major artists is because the cop is the best witness.
Yes, best witness.
The cop is the best witness. The best witness that's going to get you out of any situation with lawsuits, any situation with allegations.
Sure.
You know who the best witness is? It's a law enforcement agent.
Yeah, you're a sworn peace officer.
You're a sworn peace officer.
Yeah.
They put you on the stand and say such and such happened. You give your testimony.
It's
and
a
your
done
testimony
deal.
is a
because
done
they know
deal.
that you've already took the oath.
Because you're an officer, right?
Yeah.
We could look at the news, look at Breonna Taylor. See, they take a cop's word. You see what I'm saying? We could look at Ahmaud Arbery. He had the white dude had a badge.
Yep.
So anything with police officers always will get believe better than what we do.
Exactly.
That's why it went like this. But a lot of these guys, and we always say this. Prime example: the situation happened with with Strawberry Shortcake when he ran up on a rapper. The tough rapper had a white boy, had a European cop with him.
Facts.
So it's one thing when you move with the police. No police officer gonna mess their pension up. If he pull that hammer in a discharge, he gonna have to sit at his desk for 6 to 8 weeks. IND investigation.
Yep. Not only that. The prosecution, when they know there's a police officer involved, they know the case is won. The case is won. Anytime there's a police officer involved, that's
a corroborating witness.
That's a corroborating witness.
Yes.
It's a wrap. So no one's saying that you shouldn't move with a police officer if you're a artist or a rapper or whatever the case may be. But understand, if you're moving with an active duty police officer, sworn police officer, he's not, like he just said, he's not giving up his pension. He's not finna lose his tenure and the years on the force.
Sure.
Because of you. So whatever you do, whatever criminal activity you get involved in, whatever criminal act you commit, trust and believe that guy that's sitting next to you will be a prosecution witness against you. And that's just the facts.
Now, do you consider that person from the definition and the label of a snitch, right? So now if there's a cop that if something goes this way, they're going to tell exactly what happened. Is that still considered honorable, or is that just allowing somebody that could potentially be a snitch if something goes the other way into your camp?
If you eat chocolate cake, you know it's sweet, right? If you have a cop with you, you already know what you're getting with that.
That's real. That's real. That's a great answer to that. So it's like you already know. And I think that there's honor in that because they're coming to the table letting you know that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of an unsaid. Maybe they don't say it out loud, but it's an unsaid fact that you know, unspoken truth. Yeah.
This how I'm gonna give you the two cities that started cops doing security work, just based on my knowledge. I could be wrong. New York City, because the average security person can't carry a firearm. In LA, because the average person from out of town can't carry a firearm. So it was very easily for LA police and New York police to do security for people when they came to town based upon a firearm situation, because these guys couldn't bring outside guns in. So they were able to trade their way in there.
And that's
the majority of people, majority of law enforcement that want to work for rappers are fans.
True.
They're 100% fans.
True. And
so when you have a fan with a badge and a gun, he's not just deadly. He's crazy.
Right.
He's damn near a stalker.
Exactly. He's damn near a stalker, a legal stalker.
I rest my case.
Exactly. Now, what's crazy about that is I thought that too, and a lot of people think that too. There are loopholes that we're not going to get into in order for you to carry firearms on damn near everywhere in the country. But you have to be able to take that. You have to take that initiative to go out and research the ways you can do so and what you need in order to do that. You understand what I'm saying? We can't continue to just let information pass by us without us going and investigating and getting the knowledge ourselves.
That's real.
A lot of the industry takes advantage of the fact that, okay, well, this guy is a European, he's a Caucasian, he has a badge, he's worth more than 10 black men who've been doing it for 20, 30 years. That can't continue to continue to go. That can't continue to play out.
Right.
You have to be able to look at the resume. You have to be able to look at the experience. You have to be able to look at the wins, not the losses. You understand what I'm saying? Gauge a man by his wins, not his losses. Now, how many horsemen have lost? You're not gonna find a lot of them.
Sure.
You're not gonna find any of them when it comes to Killa Jay and Tank.
Right.
So that alone,
100% success rate.
That alone should stand us out amongst any law enforcement agent or law enforcement officer in the game, because they can't do what we do. Yeah, they might be able to carry a gun in certain places that we might not be able to carry, and that's questionable. I'm not going to get into details, but even in that scenario, we still have the facts, we still have the numbers, we still have the experience, we still have the history that proves that we're better than any guy who walking in off the law.
That's real. That's real, man. That's real. The game plan alone, like anybody listening to that, they would. I'm glad that you went into the depth and detail of the details. So that, and I'm sure it goes even further than that, but then touching on all of the things that have to be considered and then condensing it to one category like movement, right? Or even with the entrances and exits and realizing that, well, the person at all points, you have to leave a vehicle ready for, whatever could occur. And then there's the regular car and then the chase car. And then all of these things to the layperson is like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? But then sharing that, I feel like it's so important for people to understand all of the things that go into a successful, nothing happened, everybody got home safe, nobody died type of event.
Not even nobody died. Nobody got touched.
Nobody got touched. Exactly.
Not even
there was no incident.
Touched. Not even a broken glass, not even a cigarette butt on the floor. When it was time to close, they left. Here's your remember this, right? When you go to a nightclub, just say you and your girlfriend went out, 20 things might go wrong. You might bump into somebody's shoe, incident. Your girlfriend might get in the bathroom in a line. You might go to the bar and then bring your wallet, your card. Your phone died out. You try to go to Uber, your credit card didn't work. Anything can happen at night going out. When you leave your house to go out at nighttime, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing to our client is, sir, at the end of the night, I promise you, your shoes will still be white and you will be happy. You might get mad at the girl, but based upon our moving your security, you're going to be fine.
Right.
There's times, you can imagine this. You're taking care of the client. The client just left the establishment. The client might send word back, I'm thirsty. I need a certain type of beverage that only that establishment has. Can you please get me that? You got to leave that establishment with the beverage he wants and get it to him. So when he pulls up, you're out there waiting for him with it. Then get back to the establishment.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to skin a cat to make the king happy, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part people don't realize. It's just not being
amazing.
big, black, walking behind somebody. This thing with this hair on it or this non-hair, it's got a lot of wisdom up in there.
Facts.
That's real.
Facts.
That's real, man. Thank you so much for sharing those gems, too. Those are gems.
Wisdom, yes, and that wisdom is valuable. It's valuable. It's worth the worth in it.
When you said about the Jews, see, this is what, just like this, right? History has a way of Judas and the Messiah, right? People don't realize this. Dr. Martin Luther King employed more snitches than anybody on planet Earth. So back then, it was so easy to manipulate a black man with finances because that's what you do. Freedom and finances, the double F. We'll keep you free, and we'll get you fed and give you some money. And they're going to cooperate. Just like this. Look at all the shit happened back in the old days in the South. You know what you want to find who the biggest snitch was back then? Who was the most richest black preacher back then? Ooh. That's who was doing all the rapping to the government.
Ooh.
See, people looked at. You in Philadelphia, Mississippi, your whole entire church tray you bring around only has $32. How the fuck are you getting $700? You in Birmingham, Alabama. Just look at our history.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's so powerful. That's so powerful what you just said, man. You have to break that down. Understand something. There was a coalition put together by George Bush in his first term. And what he did basically is he hired all the preachers in the black churches. You know how they have the presidential prayer breakfast?
Prayer breakfast.
The prayer breakfast?
Yep.
That's where that came from. So every time you see a president, when he's surrounded by all these black churches, I'm talking about mega churches, these black,
of course.
When he's surrounded by all these people and surrounded, we got the praise of the church, and we got the black church, and we got the black church. They can get us to vote. They can get us to that. Those are the people dictating to the people who they should worship and who they should vote for. That's how powerful the machine is. That's how powerful the informant game is. It's not just the Black Panther Party. It's not just, criminal organizations. When they say informants, when they say snitching, that's on all levels. Political, economic, social, on all levels. They have informants informing on the people to control the people. And they've been doing that for years.
My question then, is it a sinister aim? Because there is, from an accountability standpoint, of course there's going to be reports, right? But then to plant an informant in a mega church, what's the purpose of that?
To control the people. To control how the people think and how they view whatever it is they got going on. I mean, take vaccines, for instance.
True.
Hold on, tag me in, Tank. Let me give you a prime example. Louisville, Kentucky just fired a black police officer. They said he gave Black Lives Matters information. The Capitol Police of Washington, D.C. has proven that 29 cops on duty helped that chaos in there, and none of them got fucking fired. You do the math. When did Black Lives Matter take over Capitol? See what I'm saying? Just look at the example I just gave you right here.
Yeah, that's a great example.
The insurrection. The insurrection. You mean to tell me these people can storm the Capitol building armed? Storm the Capitol building.
Threats of killing a politician, gallows, nooses, whole thing.
Zip ties, the whole 9 yards. But the biggest threat to national security is the black identity extremists, the so-called black identity extremists, which are basically just black activists. Come on.
Then on top of that, they found out the Proud Boys leader was an FBI informant in 2013-12. Led to multiple arrests for different task force he was on.
Led to multiple arrests for task force that he was on. Wow.
And nothing happened. Told you, man.
That's what I said. The Judas and the Black Messiah, man, it's larger. It's larger than just the Panthers. It's larger than just Malcolm. It's larger than just Martin. It's informing on all levels. There is informants and snitches on all levels. They just show you the levels they want you to see. They don't show you the other levels they want you to see. This vaccine shit. These people, what do you call these people? These are people giving false information to the public in order to get them to do something that they might not want to do.
Pro-vaxxers, for sure.
That's snitching. That's informant. That's a level of informant. That's
interesting. I like that. I like that because it broadens the definition of any type of propagandist. Right? It doesn't have to be sinister in aim, like the example in Judas and the Black Messiah, where he was pretending really to be one of the representatives, but was more like a spy, But then you're saying anyone that's part of the machine to influence and help to control large masses could be put under that umbrella of informant.
Okay, look at Tekashi 6ix9ine. There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Look at this situation.
Absolutely. Agent of chaos, informant, snitch, agent provocateur. I mean, look how they
did the black guy from what's it called? NFAC.
Ooh.
You ain't heard of him no more.
Right. Gone. Disappeared. I mean, the
he's not dead though, right?
No,
he's just not in the media.
Just not
the
in the media
shut
anymore.
him down.
Right. I don't even know if the media shut him down. I think his power lied in his ability to control. His power lied in his ability to influence others. Once that influence is taken away and he doesn't have that kind of power no more, he's no longer necessary.
Because the reality is some of the stuff he said, you wound up seeing it came true.
That's true. That's true.
You know, also look, since they don't talk about this, brother, since it is the shortest month, Black History Month, we got to give a special shout out to Marlon Briscoe, the first black quarterback ever in the NFL that no one talks about.
Marlon Briscoe.
No one talks. If you ask 20 people right now, who was the first black quarterback in the NFL? They're going to say Doug Williams. Marlon Briscoe was the first one.
Marlon Briscoe.
Yeah. 1968.
1968.
Played for the Denver Broncos.
So we talked about the game. We talked about the game earlier. What's your thoughts? You was there at the game. What do you think? You think the refs influenced the game, or you think it was just a fair game?
Honestly, I didn't really get a chance to see it because when I was on the field with my boss doing his thing, I was just waiting. I just knew that somebody was going to try to run on the field, and I was just trying to picture where it come from. That's all that was in my head. I just knew he was come from somewhere. I had that feeling. Right. And once we got upstairs, he came on the field, and he came from the area I knew. This is the crazy part. Where he came from, I knew he was going to come from because I went to the field. Now, I've had every credential that you possibly could have to get on the field. I had the wristband. I had the pass. I had the 3 stickers. I had the walkie-talkie. I had the earpiece. I had everything.
You were loaded, yeah.
Yeah. I told the guy, sir, look, all I'm going to say is this. I'm here working like you, but I want you to have the same energy and the same focus and the same eyesight when somebody jumps on the field, because they're going to jump on the field. And lo and behold, when they jumped on the field, you saw that same guy, Inspector Gadget, slide across the field, couldn't catch him.
Right.
They had a streaker run across the field.
Oh, they had a streaker.
Yeah, dude was trying to take off his clothes and run across the field.
Did he get tackled?
Yeah. I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
But the same guy that gave me a body cavity check to get on the field couldn't even subdue the guy.
Right.
That's crazy.
I'm going to tell you the craziest part. I say this, man, and you know this. I didn't really take everything in until after we got the boss to dinner, and me and Tank was in a truck, and we were just speaking for a second, and Tank said, look, man, peep your six out. And we saw 300 people coming down the street, waving flags with shit on fire, and we saw the woman for kids in the next car next to us, and she was so scared, and me and Tank both told her, ma'am, we're not going to let nothing happen to you. Just relax. This crowd's going to walk on by. And me and Tank got out and stood in front of that woman's car.
Oh, man.
Facts.
Kept going. Because we was going through the one way. You had people trying to turn around.
Beautiful, man.
I mean, you're talking about people who are inebriated, crazy, wilding, running through.
Yeah. Y'all just got out and shined, loan some energy, shine some light. Like, nah, not this, not here, not now, not with us standing here. That's dope. See,
the mother was in the car with 3 of her kids. You know what I'm saying? She was a European lady. She was really scared, and she was trying to turn. I said, ma'am, it's a one way. You can't turn. Just relax. We're not going to let no one hurt you. Just relax. She locked her doors, wound the window up, and you're like, yo, just relax.
Right.
Like we was going to do something to her.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Then once she realized that she was good.
Yeah, you guys were the good guys.
Yeah.
Facts.
Because, if you're in traffic and you see 300 people based upon the temperature society, they screaming and yelling, waving flags and carrying on, jump on top of hood of cars, you're going to really be nervous if you're especially your kids.
Right.
But then you also tell they're not trying to hurt you. They're just in the heat of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was let's say Tampa was an eye opener because it showed us a lot from not just security aspect of, just everything, because Tampa's a very small city.
It's true.
And you had all the people in there at one time, and they're not used to that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember, some of these hotels had just only been open for 6 weeks, and they threw people in there. These hotels didn't have signs in them. They just threw people in there because they had to get that money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you've never seen anybody pay goddamn $1,400 to stay at the fucking Hilton? That was a Hilton. Who say, come on?
Yeah. They got their bread. I mean, it was crazy out there. I mean, you saw the chaos at the Kodak Black party, and the shit that happened there, the shootout, the shootings and stuff like that. When you juxtapose situations that happen in a certain city and town, and you put us and what we do in our parties up against that, then you see the real talent, you see the real skills. And that's all I ask people to do. Before you start to question what we charge, before you start to question, what we say our worth is, you have to put us up against everybody else. Once you put us up against everybody else, then the value is clear. The value is clear.
I think it's important for you guys to share, or I don't know because I know it was like a non-name thing, but I think it's important to share who you were protecting, just to put it into perspective. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
if you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose and a mouth and some teeth and a tongue, you know who he's protecting.
Right, exactly. You can
hear it, taste it, and chew it.
That's true. And if you saw the game, you know what I'm saying? I was just saying, like, just for people that did, because I didn't see the whole game, right? So it was like, I know just because I know, but it could be people that didn't see the game, but then if they, know the level of what we're talking about, they'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Well, also, based upon YouTube, all you got to do, if you Google and screenshot, you're going to see this face and Tank's face walking behind somebody.
At all times, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you put in top 10 bodyguard, top 10 this, that, whatever when it comes to this industry, and you're gonna see our face and who we've worked with before. And all our information is
verifiable.
Is verifiable. All our information is Googleable.
Right.
All our information can be tracked and verified, and the numbers can be tracked and verified.
Verified.
We always talk about the $1 billion bodyguards club. These are verifiable numbers.
Hold on. I gotta add one person to there.
Facts.
Tank, you know him too. My boy Big Chris from Chicago, man. He was Gucci's bodyguard. He lucked up with the royal family. He getting that bag. Bro, I can give him that shot. Big Chris got that bag now.
Yeah, facts. Put him on there. Put him on there. We need more bodies at the board. And that's the question. The question is, who are you really going to pay?
Thank you.
Straight up.
Who are you really going to pay? At some point, you have to ask yourself that. Why are certain guys getting paid and certain guys ain't? Certain guys not. Is it about protection? Like we always say, is it about protection? If it's about protection, then the guy should be the top paid in this industry, and who shouldn't be top paid in this industry. If it's about protection.
Right.
Yeah. That's what we always say. If this is strictly about protection, then what? I'm going to give you a prime example, right? You can see how people change. I'll give you a prime example. You know who Tory Lanez is, right? I'll say his name. The same security he had a couple years ago, got rid of him. The same security got rid of him. Then he has Big Kevin out of Fort Lauderdale. And if you look at what he started with to what he had with Kevin, you can see the elevation. When he got to Kevin, this guy's actually worth getting paid for security. And I use that as an example.
Yeah, facts.
That's what it is. The guys he started, he went from the homies to the non-homies to actual real security, and that's what it be sometimes.
Yep, right.
Not to say that other guys can't handle themselves or people out of situation based upon looks and experience and resume. Big Kevin is the better guy.
Facts.
That's growth security.
Facts. And then the experience. I'm glad you included experience in there because that is the piece that can't be acquired unless you do it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? All of that shit sounds great in theory.
Yes.
But
and this is the importance. There's only one way you get around the experience. There's only one way you get around with the years of just doing the job. You have to be mentored by somebody who did.
That's real. That's the
only way.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. And mentorship.
Look, next time, we're going to put Jamaica on the phone. We'll let Jamaica talk. See what she said? Jamaica is hands down. Hands down. He could stay there right there where you say. That was somebody that me and Tank mentored and groomed to be the product that he is right now.
Facts, man. Shout outs to Jamaica.
And this guy, Bruno Mars' bodyguard. This guy was Lil Wayne's bodyguard. This guy was Justin Bieber's bodyguard. This guy, now he works over here for us. This guy worked for a lot of people. Facts. But where he came from to where he finished, that's all Horseman on that, baby.
That's it.
Trust me. He'll tell you that.
That's facts. And that's one of the many. That's one of many. That's one of many.
So next week, we'll holler at Jamaica.
Definitely. And you want to keep it, and I always want to harp on this, and I want to put, a lot of emphasis on this. Mentorship should be paid. You should pay to be a mentor.
Without a doubt. You
should pay to be a mentor. God, everybody's seen Godfather. Everybody's seen how that works. You kick up to the boss. You should always pay for your mentorship. If you getting free mentorship, then that shit ain't worth nothing. Mm-hmm. Straight up. You got to pay for it. You got to put in your dues, man.
Right. Even if that's labor too.
Absolutely.
Like just to let people know that labor is a monetizable force. So if your mentorship is like, nah, you're not getting paid for 90 days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a number of gigs that you have to go through until you're competent enough for us to even substantiate that you need to be paid.
Come on.
Yeah, that's important. It's important.
It's important because the knowledge is worth something. What you're learning is worth something.
Without a doubt.
You understand what I'm saying?
Prime example. There was a guy, right? He's this how much, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm going to sound cocky saying this. This how much I love being a horseman. There was a guy, famous guy, DJ guy, right? Popular. We put Smitty with him. Mm-hmm. That guy was that much more accepted in the urban field. Mm-hmm. That guy was able to move all the way around because Smitty was him. 100%.
Facts. 100%. 100%.
It's like Tank said, that's the thing that gets me. When you know that you got the thoroughbreds behind you, just compensate what it is.
Come on.
Right. Because pay the price.
You couldn't like this. Look, me and Smitty is with G-Eazy. G-Eazy on tour. G-Eazy, YG, Yo Gotti on tour. You ask anybody on that tour who was the most secure artist. You ask anybody on that tour, every day me and Smitty was decapitating people out there as they violated.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Easy ain't nothing about Gerald Gangster.
Facts.
But I tell you what, me and Smitty held it down for him. 109%.
Yep. And if he's being honest, he's going to tell you, there's no way I would have been comfortable moving in those fields, in those areas without them and having sense. Mm-hmm. If they're being honest, man, you know what I'm talking about, Jeff. You know who I'm talking about. If the boy's being honest, there is no, come on. There is no way.
Anybody out there know what we're talking about. If that yellow boy is being honest, he know for a fact that Killa Jay and motherfucking Tank and the rest of the Horsemen made him look like motherfucking John Gotti when he moved in the streets. Facts. He never had an issue from anything. We handled everything in life for that boy.
Facts.
And that red boy know what we did for that boy. He know that.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
If he's being honest, it's undeniable.
If we're just talking about protection.
That's it. If we just talking about protection, I don't care about nothing else. If it ain't about protection, I don't give a fuck about it. Mm-hmm. If you talking about protection and you talking about what we've done in the game and what we did for him and others, if they're being honest, they ain't never felt that way. No. What me and Jay always say. Me and Jay always say. For fact,
December the 10th, 2013 at Live nightclub, you swiped that Horseman credit card 7 times that night.
He swiped
7 charges.
7 charges. And they pay for none of them. And they pay none of the charges.
If you think I'm lying, go ask William Roberts. If you know who William Roberts is, y'all call him the boss. He was there tonight and saw that.
Facts. And that's the God's honest truth, man. And that's just one of many, man. That's just one of many. Mm-hmm. Listen, me and Jay always talk about it. When you walk into a room with a horseman, everybody in the room know you just walked in. I don't care where you at. If you walk into a room with a horseman, everybody in the room know you just walked in.
Hey, tell them this. Look, we can't say where we were. We was in a remote location.
Right. Okay? A remote location. I like that as a descriptor.
Some some law enforcement came to the location we was at.
Mm-hmm.
I made one phone call. My boy came. I can tell you, he worked for the same department. He said, them right there, they can do what they want to do. You guys are on their property. You need to leave. I met this sheriff one time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed in touch with him. We got there, it changed the tempo. The next day, the guy came past and said, I've known this guy for 12 years. He's never been like this before. That tells me that you got to be somebody special. I said, man, I ain't somebody special. I'm somebody that knows how to be special.
Facts. Straight up. It's a process.
Facts.
Specialty is a process.
Facts. and that's the power, man.
I love that.
That's the power. I go back to the bags and the high-end merchandise. When you got high-end merchandise, you ain't paying for it. You paying for the name. Mm-hmm. You paying for a look. You paying for people to know when they see that, they know you got high-end merchandise. Horseman is high-end merchandise. If you ain't ready for the look, if you ain't ready for that vibe, if you ain't ready to walk in and feel like a god in these streets, don't hire us. If you do, pay the fee.
Right. That's
pay
it.
the cost. And be proud of it. And be proud of it.
Happily pay it.
Killa, you remember Floyd's words, and I quote, if you want the best, you're going to pay for the best.
Crazy. And there's a boxer named Vernon Forster that just got killed. They interviewed Floyd, and Floyd said, if you want the best, you're going to pay for the best. I wish that my fellow boxing comrade would have had security like these guys.
Facts. You can't buy something more truthful than that. You can't. That honesty can't
priceless.
Be bought. It's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Those nuggets, those jewels, are the jewels you really should be paying for. Those are the jewels you really. That's the real bling.
Right.
For real. That's the real bling.
For real.
In 2021, the real bling is your protection. I don't give a fuck what your chain look like. I don't give a fuck what your chain costs. I don't give a fuck what your clothes look like. What your protection look like? Mm-hmm. Are you paying top dollar for your protection?
Real,
because that's what makes you valuable.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes you valuable. You can say you're worth $1 million and walk around the street by yourself,
jumped and be worth nothing as well. Too.
So to you ain't worth shit.
This
to you ain't worth. That's deep. That's deep.
Come the summer 2021 and the beginning of 2022, this world gonna be open and they're gonna be crazy. Atlanta's already on fire. I hope everybody that attends All-Star Weekend really has their A game up to par when it comes to personal protection, because them young boys down there are snatching cars and shooting bullets. So I really hope they on the A game down there, because Atlanta ain't playing no more games, man.
And they ready.
Because a lot of times, you know, it's easy. If you live in North Carolina, you're not thinking about Atlanta. If you live in Wichita, Kansas, you're not thinking about All-Star Weekend. But the people that are actually going to go there, have boots on the ground, that's going to go to these social events, something's going to happen. And you see this. One thing I tell everybody, you saw what happened at the Capitol. All that was a breeding school of how to breach something.
Yeah.
In the hip-hop world, been breaching shit for years.
Right.
Biggie Smalls breach, Source Awards beats, when they ran up on breach. So we've been doing that part for years, urban community. Now you put the pandemic, they hungry, these young boys talking, they shooting, they not fearing nothing. That's a volcano for disaster. Trust.
Facts. They've been sitting in the house marinating for a year. They've been sitting in the house marinating.
This new generation is the biggest threat, because they're not scared of nobody. They're going to shoot first and ask questions later. So you have these artists out here, they're not, remember this, when you're an artist, you live in a fantasy world. You got that John Lennon disease. You think everybody's your friend. He found the hard way. You have to move with style, grace, and protection, because nobody can be got. You saw right now, in Houston, Texas, you got people that would kill for their kids to be warm, kill for a bottle of water.
True.
So look how this world is coming, man.
Yeah,
you got a pandemic would kill for a roll of toilet paper, a gallon of milk. You trying to tell me that everybody out here starving right now, you come in that city flossing, you don't think they're going to be on your ass?
Like right on rice. And they're going to take everything from you.
Everybody old that got a badge and work for the NBA, though, them old security dudes don't want no smoke, man.
Right. They just trying to get home.
Yeah.
They want the easy check.
The greatest man to wear do anything in penny loafers was James Brown. He wasn't security.
Listen, man. I'm glad you called in, bro.
Yeah, this was priceless. Thanks for calling in, man.
This reality. I need to come sit down with y'all.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring a gallon of alkaline water, an empty spit cup from my Copenhagen. We're gonna talk and spit all night.
There it is, right there.
We need that, man. We need that as soon as possible. Whenever you're ready, man. All right, brother. I'll talk to you when I get out of here.
Peace, Jay.
Talk to you about it, brother. All right, bro.
All right, brother. All right, love you.
All right.
Yo,
man, that was some jewels right there. That was some jewels.
They dropping them, man. They dropping them. They dropping them. And this is it's so important what he's saying. And it's so important that what we talked about, man. Like, yo, your value, pretty soon. Shit, right now. Mm-hmm. If you really want to show your value, it's going to be how you protect yourself. Mm-hmm. That's what your value is going to be. Gone are the days. Gone are the days. Walking around with the chains, walking around with the girls and the bags and the clothes. Them days is about to be over, man. How you protect yourself?
They're definitely over right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How you protect yourself. Mm-hmm. What's your protection look like? That's how you're going to gauge whether or not somebody's valuable and whether, like I just said, whether they worth something to themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
Where's your investment?
Where's your skin in the game?
Yeah.
Right?
Where's your investment?
Yeah.
Where's your investment?
That's real.
Stocks and protection. Stocks and protection, mark my words. That's going to be what separates those who win and those who lose. Mm-hmm. Stocks and protection. Used to be guns and butter. Now it's stock and protection.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll close it out, man.
Yeah, man. This was a great one.
Yeah, like we do every show. With all due honor and praise to the Most High, I worship thee through the divine image of my wives. Amen.
Amen.
Good night.
Peace.